it going, guys? Bibi here with Orange's episode 4 review. This episode starts off once again in the future, where Naho and co have gone over to Kakeru's grandmother's house. Naho is contemplating about what Kakeru wanted to tell her all those years ago, which I find is a really great way to open the episode. The next scene is set in the past, where the gang is sitting at an ice cream shop, where there is a terrible looking CGI machine serving the ice cream into a cone. My first thought about this machine is that the CGI was terrible. It does set the mood as to where they are and lets you know that they're getting ice cream, I suppose, but I feel it was a little bit unnecessary. Anyways, the gang is sitting around a table eating ice cream and talking about how Kakeru have ditched them for a date. After some montages and a conversation about some random topics that don't really make any sense, but the show really does very well, we find out that future Naho wants past Naho to talk to Kakeru because he's troubled. This leads to the main conflict of the episode, where past Naho is saying that it's so easy for future Naho to tell her what to do, but it's really hard for past Naho to do this because she's the one that's doing it at this point in time. I feel that this conflict doesn't really add anything to the series, as I feel like we covered this in episode 2, where past Naho went and made the lunch and it was difficult for her to give it to Kakeru. We then cut to a scene where we see the letter saying that Kakeru is going to get into a fight with his girlfriend Ueda senpai, and this actually happens. And the only reason that Ueda senpai and Kakeru get into a fight is because Ueda goes and bumps into Naho, she falls over, and Ueda senpai doesn't apologise, which is a bit of a dick move. Kakeru then goes and says that Ueda senpai should apologise instead of just standing there. And this is where Ueda senpai really loses her nut. She says that it's Kakeru's fault that this happened and that she doesn't want him to speak to any other girls other than her. So she's a bit possessive and she runs off in a fit. Kakeru then goes and tries to help Naho stand up, and Naho, being a bit of the whiny bitch she is, she says sorry and runs off crying. So I don't know, I'm really starting to get sick of Naho and how whiny she is. I have been told by a friend that she's going to get less whiny, so thank God for that. But as it stands, I don't like Naho. After Naho runs off like a little wimp, she runs into Suwa and he goes and says that Kakeru wants to speak to her more and that he's not going to be able to talk to her if she keeps running off. So this somehow sorts out the conflict and she thanks him and runs back towards Kakeru. So, I don't know, this is getting a bit contrived. Naho runs outside and Kakeru has already crossed the road. She goes to cross the road, but she can't because there's traffic coming. She yells across the road to Kakeru and says that she doesn't mind making him lunch and that she really enjoys it, and she wants to know what he was going to ask her when she avoided him earlier on. She then decides to run across the road, and it turns out that Kakeru can't remember what he was going to ask Naho, but at least they're talking, so that's something. The two then sit down and have a conversation about how Kakeru wanted to keep speaking to Naho and that he's been missing having conversations with her. And it turns out that he's thinking about breaking up with Ueda senpai. So that's quite interesting, and it also turns out that he likes someone else. He didn't say who, and Naho is wondering if future Naho knows who Kakeru likes. I mean, it's blatantly obvious by now that he likes Naho, but Naho's pretty oblivious to it, and I'm sure that the rest of the gang know this as well. So Kakeru leaves and all is well and everyone's all happy and they're friends again. So now, after reviewing 4 episodes of Orange, you can obviously tell that I have an issue with this letter thing, and I think I figured out why. Orange is a light sci-fi romance series, not a supernatural series like I was thinking. I'm pretty sure that I read on my anime list that Orange is a supernatural series, but I feel like it really goes into the sci-fi elements, especially with the time travel thing with the letter. Science fiction requires more of a logical perspective than fantasy or supernatural does. And when the logic in a science fiction doesn't stack up, the whole thing unravels. It's hard not to compare Orange, a light sci-fi heavy romance series, to the likes of Steins Gate, a heavy sci-fi light romance series. Steins Gate's logic held up well, and the romance was believable, so the series hit all the right points. Where Orange's sci-fi logic feels confusing, and the letter leaves out really important information which just doesn't make sense. The romance in Orange feels believable, and the chemistry between all the characters is undeniable. but without the sci-fi logic, the series just feels flawed. In short, I think that I need to stop focusing on the sci-fi element of the series and just concentrate on the romance. And if they fix the sci-fi portion of the series, then great, the show is a winner. Otherwise, I think it's just going to keep confusing me. I will most likely make a longer video on this topic when the series is finished, and to see what they have actually decided to do with the series. But until then, I'll just sit back and enjoy the rest of the show. So I didn't really have much to say about this episode. It was a nice episode, but it still had the same issues as the past 3 episodes. So, I don't know. Tell me in the comments below if you still have the same issues from the beginning, and if you have any different issues with this series. I'm looking forward to reading them all, and while you're there, please make sure to give this video a big like and share it out to all your friends. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, go have a look at the rest of my channel. I do anime recommendations, anime news, and I've got plenty of other anime content on there, so I'm sure you'll find something interesting to watch. If you want to chat to me and get to know me more, I'm on social media. I've got a Facebook and a Twitter. I'm online constantly, especially Twitter these days, so make sure to like me and follow me on there. And if you want to see more from me and more content like this, then please make sure to subscribe for a wide range of anime content. From Moe to Mika, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!